Anyway, good evening, professors. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, dear colleagues. C'est Mustafa Mourchid, Nathalie Leblanc, c'est Mohamed. Hello, I hope you are doing well. مانكات كده سي محمد. بارك الله فيك. يفولك الحال الحمد لله. السنة 3 إن شاء الله راه داروا ناجح إن شاء الله. I don't know if you have this in mind, but there is going to be an academic event I am attending, so I will be there, inshallah. The event is taking place at 3 o'clock. I don't know whether your coordinator has informed you of the event, and this is going to be, of course, to your benefit because you will be concerned with this very soon. I would like to thank you so much, dear colleagues, and friends, for joining. I have only around half an hour before this live session, somebody told me that there is going to be another live session in the form of a football match. Real Madrid is perhaps playing against another team, and I am not much into football, and therefore this sports event does not attract me, and I do not find it that appealing, except of course when the national team is involved. In that case, okay, this spirit, this drive for being a nationalist, this nationalism, is a force that. So I can put everything aside and watch our football team playing against another nation, of course, with hopes that it will win. Fatima, أهلا أستاذة فاطمة ممشتيت مليح. How is everything going there? I hope you're doing well. Ustad Atimad Shinqub, I hope you're doing well too. Thank you very much for joining us here. Si Mohammed, thank you, Sinordin, for informing me. I will see you by then, inshallah. Inshallah, I hope I will meet you there and have a discussion with you, perhaps. And a neighbor is calling. I don't know why he is doing this. Anyway, so I may not be in a position to respond now that I am on the live session. I will probably apologize to him. Otherwise, there is one thing we can do. I can just answer him right away. There is nothing. I don't know what he has. I hope there's nothing urgent. Otherwise, الو سي عصام السلام عليكم. كي داير لاباس عليك انت على خير؟ لا انا في واحد سيونس لايف سيشن دونك بديتها مالوغوزمون صافا شويه بخير مبارك. انا في الدار استاذ وي واخا one moment واخا thank you. So I just need to take 2 minutes maximum. I say I think it's just 1 minute, and then I can pick back. I'm really sorry. Perhaps he needs me for something. I'll come back. Here I am. Sorry for this interruption. Well, Atimad, we have greeted her. Si Mohammed, inshallah. Imanu. Hello, Professor. I'm happy to join your live for the first time. Imanu, thank you very much for joining us for this session. I hope you will be joining other live sessions if you find them interesting, of course. And I would like to ask everyone here, especially the ones who are, faithful to our sessions, to welcome you. Imanu, thank you. I like the name, by the way. BRRE, hi. Hello. Si Mohammed, okay, it's great, Mustafa. Ustad Faiza, Ashia. Good evening, Professor. Thank you for building such a great learning community. You are welcome. I hope it's going to keep growing, and I hope we will all benefit from it. It's not it's not unidirectional. It's bidirectional. It's multidirectional, in fact, because we learn from each other, especially that the group is gathering, university professors, high school teachers. Doctoral researchers, master students, and of course, undergraduate students. All right, Si Mohammed Al-Zaraq, good evening. I hope you're doing well. You are welcome. Thank you. Sada Barho, good evening, Professor. I hope you're doing well. Thank you. Natalie, okay, thank you very much. You are welcoming Iman, who says he is with us for the first time. I see that only 17 people are with us, so I kindly ask you to share the link to this live session, to the link to the channel, if possible, so that more people will join us, despite the fact that, of course, for today's session specifically, I understand that there's this football match that keeps people away, but we will see, okay? Anyway, whatever the number is, we will not skip the objective of today's session, which is a review of a number of points relating to the course of Introduction to Linguistics. We know that in the country, in different universities, the course is sometimes taken in some universities, for example, like Mohammed V University, the course of Introduction to Linguistics is assigned to S4 students. But in Mohammed First University, Nador, for example, the students are assigned the course in at the level of S5, and of course, whether it's in S4 and S5, the fact remains that, or in S3, I don't know, but anyway, in a full semester. No, just to keep it safe, okay? Nice. I will try, because I have somebody who happens to be my friend, Professor Mr. Ali Al-Abdouni. I don't know whether he is with us here. He has kindly shared with me, the major points covered in in the Introduction to Linguistics course at the Polydisciplinary Faculty of Nador. And this is an opportunity to tell the students belonging to this institution that they need to share, that they are, not they need, but that they are kindly requested again to share the link in their groups. I don't know why the group keeps refusing the link whenever it is submitted. Only occasionally is the link accepted to a video, for example. Anyway, the link is not the link to my videos. I don't think they will do harm. If they do not do good, they will not do harm. So unless they are instructed not to do so, in that case, I understand why this is the situation. In the same vein, I would like to specifically thank our friends from Al-Qadi Ayyad University from Marrakesh, who keep sending me private messages expressing their gratitude to the initiative, and expressing also the gratitude for the fact that they have found the contents of the channel so interesting that they made it, with a good grade in different courses, of course, relating to linguistics in particular. Anyway, Natalie, okay, Faiza, Fatima Shahi, thank you, dear. Faiza and Fatima are friends, I know, and classmates as well, and very well-behaved and very mature, ladies. I wish them all the best. Abdel Bib Nabu, good evening, sir. Thank you for bringing academic lessons to social media. So, the initiative started last year, and in fact, the very first idea, the embryonic stage of the idea, came from my master's students at one point in time. I tried to produce a booklet where I tried to explain the different statistical measures and the reasons why, we have to opt for this or that, and what needs to be taken into consideration. A couple of students told me in the face that, well, sir, this is a good idea, but it's somehow getting more traditional, and it's a good idea. It would be a good idea if you could, start a YouTube channel where you could deliver these contents and, I started the channel and I did not include any videos there until after months. As you can see, sometimes I am regular in uploading videos, and sometimes I because I have other tasks to do. In fact, not other tasks. I have a lot of other tasks to do. In fact, but anyway, I'm trying to. So what drives these are your encouragements, are your encouragements and the words that you show in support of the channel and its contents. Thank you very much. Okay, Imanu says, thank you, Professor, and everyone. I've already watched your videos, but it is my first time attending your live sessions. Yeah, it has another flavor. The live session has another flavor because you can interact and you have talked, you posted something that I have read and to which I have reacted. This is a good thing. The chances are that you may have a question to ask to which I might respond. Okay, thank you. So if there is a Nobel Prize for the best professor, I'm sure you will get it. Wow, that's an overstatement, I guess. I don't think I deserve a Nobel Prize, but thank you, Natalie. It shows that you have a lot of respect for your professor. Thank you so much, and I take that as an accolade in my favor. Thank you very much. And there were Nobel Prize for the MA student. Natalie would get it. I would confirm. Thank you, Si Mustafa. You are the best. I'm a fan. Thank you, BRRE. Thank you very much. In any case, Alors, are we going to start? I think we need to start because there was the announcement that the live session is taking place at 9 o'clock in the evening. Specifically for those groups of students who asked me in the private, I just wonder whether you are here. So if you belong to the polydisciplinary faculty of Nador, would you kindly type on? For the moment, I know only two. I know Fatima and I know Faiza. These are the ones who study in Silwan. Nathalie Leblanc, no, you don't belong to the polydisciplinary faculty of Nador. Okay, perhaps you did not hear the prompt. Never mind. We will start our the first point that we can discuss. Or do you think that we should wait for maybe 5 or 6 minutes more? Because we have 19 people here, and I don't know whether the match will finish on time or will finish before us, or we will finish before the match. We'll end the live before the match. We don't know. It looks like that there are okay. Let's wait. Waiting for these. We would like to maybe reflect on. There is one thing I wanted to say. This is a message for the students who are undertaking an end of study projects. This is something I wanted to say last time, but I just happened to forget because perhaps we had other things to talk about. Now, for the end of study projects, there are students who think that they can get away with the idea that they will use, for example, ChatGPT or DeepSeek or other plagiarism materials, and they can get away with it if the teacher does not discover that you think that you have succeeded. No, my friend, you are not doing yourself any favor. In fact, you are harming yourself, unless, of course, your intention is just to get the license degree and maybe find another job, another realm of activity. But if you intend to capitalize on your knowledge and pursue your studies in master's program, for example, or try to find a job with English, then you will be a failure. Let me tell you this, viva voce, as they say. So for the end of studies project, it's better to be patient, and if someone tells you that you will not suffer, no, you will suffer, and that's part of it. You will suffer, and that's part of it. You will sacrifice your weekends, and that's part of it. You will sacrifice your vacations, and that's part of it. You will stay up late working on it. That's part of it. In any case, you will not gain anything if you don't suffer and if you don't feel that, if you don't train yourself on being patient. There are chances for you to write a section or two, for example, that the supervisor will turn down, which suggests, to which he will suggest or she will suggest modifications. Do not lose heart. Keep going, because by the time you finish your thesis, your end of study project, you will have learned a lot, and you will have produced a lot of knowledge and a lot of skills that you will carry with you in your next academic step. Now, just imagine you use, ChatGPT, and you fool your supervisor and you get away with it, and or you use another person's research, out of mischief, and you think that you are the hero or the heroine. No, my friend, you are not doing, any good to you. What you are doing is only harm, and there will come a time when you regret it, and it will be too late for you to step back on it, to go back on it and try again. Of course, you will not revolutionize the field of linguistics or education or cultural studies in which you are working. So try to produce something manageable. Try to produce something, I'd rather see a piece of work that shows that there are mistakes of grammar, language. These are normal things, my friends. But express yourself. Take the ideas and express yourself. Show that it is your own work for all its imperfections. You see. But to bring a section where you write as though you were a native speaker in one section, but in the acknowledgement section or in the dedication you write catastrophic things, then of course this is a good piece of evidence that it's not yours. Okay, so please bear in mind that this will not lead you anywhere, and that only hard work will pay off. Okay, it is the process, the journey that matters most, because if you work, look at this, when you have, either the ESP or the term papers that you are assigned every now and then, these are the seeds for you to become a good scholar in the future. If you wait until the master's program, the master's thesis, to start from scratch at the time when you have never had any experience writing any section, let alone a piece of paper or a project, or then you will be hard put, to justify that you deserve, to be a master student, because you will produce errors because you have not learned from a very important experience, which is the end of study project or the term papers that you submit before. So rushing into ChatGPT and artificial intelligence in general is one way of destroying. You are destroying your future by your own hands. Full stop. Okay. So this is one way of sensitizing these people, these students, that you may go away with it at one level, but you will not survive later on. Okay. Right. Thank you. So let's just move on directly. I'm still waiting to see whether we have students who are about to or who would like to know about these elements in introduction to introduction to linguistics. Otherwise, it's a pity that because this was I was told by my friends here that this was shared in groups and in different groups actually. There are a lot of students who may find this of relevance because they have the makeup exam, maybe next week. Okay, Karim Bolain, everybody uses Grammarly, an AI tool, while drafting their papers. Isn't that fine? No, my friend, it's not that fine. So honestly, probably, because if using Grammarly and other softwares will not teach you, because it's like you draft anything, maybe while watching the match. I'm exaggerating, but this is just one way of sending the message in as clear a manner as possible. So it's like writing anything, uploading it maybe to the software and wait until the software generates everything. Well, just imagine we have someone who does it this way because probably he has enough money to pay for Grammarly, or because he has found a way of using it for free, a trial version, for example. And imagine that this student has submitted a paper that is error-free or mistake-free, and that the supervisor marvels at the way this student has expressed his or her ideas. Now, just imagine the situation. You get your degree, you get a high grade, you go home, you make your parents happy, you make your family happy, you pride yourself on achieving a good grade. Okay. Now, just imagine you go to the entrance exam, you want to be a teacher, and you are given a piece of paper and a topic to write, something. Because you have been relying on Grammarly, you will be hard put, to express yourself in a clear way, in an accurate way. It is in this respect that I think that using Grammarly or other softwares amounts to teaching yourself how to be lazy. Okay, perhaps I am old school, perhaps, okay. But in circumstances like these, it is mandatory that the student not tries, because I have mandatory that. Okay, anyway, it is mandatory that the student try her own effort, and maybe at a later stage, when you get to know about when you get everything into the software and generate the answer, you have to know why. At least you have to know why. You may use it, but you have to know why. Some students, and I guess this is the trend, and this is the trend for those who use these softwares. I'm not saying that students use them, but those who use these softwares, the likelihood is that they will, because they are tired, because they have other things to attend to, because they have no one to proofread what they have written, they upload everything in this software, and they get the text, and then they try to print out, and then life is good. Voila. So that's Mr. Karim Bourain. This is the respect in which reliance on these IA tools may not be to the benefit of students. In fact, they may have the reverse effect, unfortunately. Rashid Bendraw, hello, Sir Rashid. Thank you so much for joining us. Si Mohammed Al-Zarq's steady progress is far better than a moment of perfection. Take one. Thank you very much. That's true. This is exactly the point. You have said it all. You've summed it up all. Mr. Mohammed Al-Zarq, thank you very much. Si Mustafa Murshid, you will get a degree, but you will never be able to show your thesis to your students or to other professors. Wow, you hit the nail on the head. Look at this. Just imagine yourself in this situation. A colleague of yours asks you for a thesis, for your thesis, and you keep postponing to the left and to the right. Why? Because you know what you did, and you know that probably they will discover that it's maybe AI generated or whatever. You see? And by the way, the softwares, the anti-plagiarism softwares today have been promoted to with this capacity to detect ChatGPT based texts. So please pay attention. Don't think that by using ChatGPT you have outwitted everyone and you will get away with it. All right, nice. See, Mustafa, your hope will be to get it vanished from the faculty's doctorate center after you have defended, to be swept from view. Okay, peer reviewed will be better. Look, Natalie is making a very good point here. Rather than Grammarly, go to the human Grammarly, your friends. Or are you afraid that they will think that you make mistakes? We all make mistakes, written now. We all make mistakes. See? So try to do this peer work. And maybe this is a win-win situation. You give him or her your sections or your chapters, and then you receive his or her chapters, and this is going to be like that. And what the other person will gain is a mention in the acknowledgement. This is usually what happens in theses. Okay, المرتجي Mohammed Saeed, what are your best tips for learning in comprehending linguistics references for a large public? There are very interesting, very good textbooks that you can start with, and I guarantee that these textbooks presuppose no knowledge in linguistics. They start from scratch. You have Introduction to Language by Fromkin and Rodman, and another one which is mentioned by Mustafa, The Study of Language by George Yule. There is a very interesting one. We used to call it the Yellow Book by Muhannaji and Fatima Siddiqui, Introduction to Modern Linguistics. These are very good textbooks. Of course, there are others, but these ones, help the otherwise unfamiliar reader to have his or her first steps into the field of linguistics. Okay, at least to demystify the field, because there are people who think that it's difficult, while the fact of the matter is that it's not as difficult as it is often imagined. Okay, maybe that's another version, but Fromkin and Rodman without Hyams. Maybe there is another version where Hyams, has, because I saw something like this, but the initial one was simply Fromkin and Rodman. Okay, nice. I think we need to start. We have 24 people here, and this live session may not last long because it's really discouraging to see that only 24 people are with us here. So one thing we can do is perhaps to start with the... Si Ali is here with us. I don't know whether Si Abdouni Ali is with us. Type 1 if you are there, Mr. Ali. No, he is not here, apparently. Apparently, he's watching the match. Okay, Mr. Saeed Rafi, assalamu alaikum. I believe doctorate candidates nowadays just want to defend their theses, and that's a catastrophe, because the aim is just to have this. Well, there is something I want to say, because there was a candidate who asked me about tips. Look at this. In order for him or her, her, because I will not, him/her, just to camouflage the identity of this person. Are there any tips? Okay, the person said, are there any tips for me to submit in March? We were talking, I guess it was early November. The person wanted to submit in March at a time when he was at the data analysis stage. In which case, the person in question, was very pragmatic and wanted only to get this degree, and this, of course, this is not the way to go. Of course, they don't care about plagiarism. There is this issue of plagiarism first. There is this first one, but there is also the training part. There is also the training part. Sorry, someone is okay. I deleted this. There is also the training part. Because when you do things, I'm not saying that that 3 years are not enough. No. You can produce an outstanding thesis with an outstanding amount of knowledge, a number of skills that you have acquired just in 3 years. This is possible, okay? But this requires, continuous work and working on it on a daily basis. And if you do that, of course, you will manage to produce an outstanding thesis. Okay, but this is visible also when you see people that doctoral students attending conferences just for the 15 minutes in which they will deliver their presentation, and then they get the diploma, and then they take the first taxi home. This is not good. What type of training will you have if you are like that? Okay, so I agree with you to a large extent, Saeed. I attended these defenses where the candidate plagiarized the whole thing, the whole chapter, without citing the author. That's a crime. That's a crime. That's a crime. I have read her thesis and compared it with a copy I have, and I noticed that that's a shame. That's a shame. It's a stigma. It will forever be a marked stigma on his forehead, as we say in Arabic. Thank you for sharing and exchanging ideas about this topic. And what we are doing actually, without feeling it, is that we are sensitizing people to the fact that they have to be, to do things the way they need to be done. Okay, they are not supposed to, to revolutionize knowledge and to produce things that have never been produced before. No, no, no. It's just to do it, to understand an issue and to work on it by collecting data, analyzing it, and reporting on it. In good, decent English that may have mistakes here and there that you may correct after. But what you cannot correct, what you cannot correct is when you plagiarize ideas, and when you plagiarize, like the case that Said has just mentioned. Okay, these are cases that are incorrigible. Okay, you cannot correct them, you cannot modify, you cannot, especially after thesis has been defended and it was accepted, and people will believe that you have not plagiarized, only to find out later on that there are chapters and chapters who have been plagiarized. And of course, this is a catastrophe at best and a scandal at worst. Okay, Khadija Belghazi, hello. I hope you're doing well. Khadija, thank you for joining us. My hope is stop stupid people from becoming doctors. Yes, Si Mustafa, yes. Those who don't deserve a degree should not be allowed to get in it. Yes, that's true. That's true. And Mustafa, you have expressed yourself that way. Well, I would say non-deserving candidates should not be allowed, of course. And one suggestion, I think some institutions have started this. When the doctorate student submits a proposal, then you have to meet the person and talk to him, in an interview. But preferably, that's an implication. Preferably, give him or her a written assignment just to see how well, he can manage producing a section, or for that matter, a chapter. Otherwise, there will be problems. Sometimes you have a look at a thesis, especially at a first version of a thesis, and you will wonder how this student got his or her BA and his or her MA in English. You see, that's the catastrophe. So I would agree with you, Si Mustafa, though I wouldn't use the word stupid, but non-deserving, would be, a more neutral term, and maybe, okay, fine. Nice. Are there any suggestions, questions, or should we start our linguistics? Because I see that the people concerned are not here with us. Karim Boulain, what about research conducted on investigating the impact of AI-generated feedback on students' writing, since teachers can't always provide individualized? Yeah, I think there is research going on now. I know at least a couple of students working on it. I'm sure that especially, one of them is really serious, and he's doing good things. He does not work under my supervision, but I have had occasion to discuss with him a number of points. I think he's going to do well. I'm sure there are, in different parts of the country, there are, students who have started research on these issues. I hope that they will come up with conclusions other than the famous, oft-quoted, oft-repeated conclusion that the old generation versus the young generation, different gender, whether males are more likely to use AI. These can be taken to be non-issues, But if there are real issues addressed, to the application of AI, for example, to writing, to other, probably skills, then that will be better. Okay, so we are witnessing, a movement towards the research, or towards research using generative AI in the field of education. Okay, yeah, that's the thing. Digital natives, digital immigrants, and the classrooms are equipped. These are not 50% say that they like slides. 50%. You see, but these have been, repeated ad nauseum. The expression ad nauseum. It's an opportunity for me to write it here. Nauseum. Ad nauseum is a Latin expression. Ad nauseum, it means to the point of, I'm sorry to say this, it's a bit disgusting, of vomiting. That's why you have nausée, les nausées in French. Okay, ad, it means to in Latin. Ad nauseam, you have you hear it so often that it becomes a catchphrase that does not need any piece of research. You don't need research, to see that, to say that the old generation may not be willing to accept training sessions in etc. All right, سي عبد الله الأمين, hello, I hope you are doing well. Thank you for joining us. أهلا أستاذ فطري. سي حسن, how are you? How is it going? Thank you for joining us. You did not answer the question last time about Silka. فين وصلت? How far has it gone? Okay, thank you, سي حسن, and I wish you all the best. سي بضاعتنا ردت إلينا. سي مصطفى, you are absolutely right. That's one way of expressing it. Okay, nice. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for us to move because the other students may become impatient and they may find our live session monotonous because we're talking about these issues. So let's delve headlong into the field of linguistics. Let me just consult what Mr. Ali sent me a while ago and start. Maybe the first thing that we need to start is phonetics. Let me check. See, Ali, he sent me a message on WhatsApp. Okay, yes. Just to see the contents that. So the first part is phonetics. And then, okay, let's start with phonetics very quickly because there are videos, but it's just to refresh some students' minds about this. Okay, what is linguistics in the first place? Very quickly, linguistics is defined as the scientific study of human language. What is it that makes it scientific? Why do we call it scientific? It's scientific because it has a methodology. For example, when we want to study a linguistic phenomenon, we cannot study the way we want. Why? Because we have to be, there is a specific procedure. If I want to collect data, there are data collection procedures. If I want to classify consonants and vowels, of a given language, I have to follow a certain, taxonomy that has been established before. There is a scientific procedure, in other words. So here, the scientificity of linguistics resides, among other things, in the fact that there is a methodology. You do not proceed following just your hunch. Okay, that's number one. Number two, linguistics is scientific because there is an object of study that has been pinned down. So, for example, in linguistics, we have different scholars, each purporting to work on a specific area of linguistics. That's pinning down the object of study. So, de Saussure, for example, as early as 1916, made the point that linguistics needs to be studied in its own right, for its own sake, for example, because before linguistics was studied or used to be studied in relation to probably translation, in relation to its the historical origin of words and people before. This is what for example. There was a science, a linguistics, a language science that developed in the 18th century, and early 19th. It was mostly in the 19th century. There was this tradition that flourished, which is referred to as comparative philology. What is comparative philology? Is it purely real linguistics? It is an aspect of linguistics. Why? Because its only aim was to study characteristics or the characteristics of individual languages in hopes of finding the characteristics of the mother. And these people succeeded to a large extent by producing family trees, saying that this dialect, this language comes from this dialect, which comes from this dialect, which is, and of course, they try to come up with ancestors, of languages. This is called comparative philology. Now, with de Saussure, Socio said, no, linguistics should be studied, for its own sake. We have to study language as it is produced by native speakers of a given language. This is distinguished. This is different from the historical perspective, and we should not study linguistics because, okay, we need it for translation, or need it to read religious texts and so forth. But we need to study it, as a science, and just for the sake of exploring the mysteries of language. This is the beginning. Socio did not express it this way, but that's the idea. Of course, Socio came with 4 dichotomies. We will not talk about these things for the moment because our friends are waiting for us to go to the right to the point. So anyway, linguistics is a scientific study of human language. Number 1, because there is an object of study, and number 2, because there is a methodology. This does not define linguistics only. This defines any science. Any science, any type of academic activity can be called a science if, number 1, there is an object of study that is being done. Number 2, there is a methodology, referred to technically also as a modus operandi. All right. Ahlan Sadarin. Good evening, dear colleague. I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much, Sadarin. Thank you so much. Really nice of you. You always join us. Professor Siraji, for those of you who do not know her, she is a professor, a professor habilité at Wallis Ismail University, Faculty of Sciences. BRRE, sir, what do we do if there are quotes from other books and other authors in the extract? I'm working on using in-text citations in MLA style. From other books, there are quotes from other books. All that you need to do is to quote and write between brackets, cited in so and so. So you have a quote said by Mr. X, and this quote is quoted by Mr. Y. So you are reading Mr. Y's book, and inside you have Mr. X said something, and you are interested in what Mr. X is. So you take the quote, and you say that Mr. X said it, but you open a bracket and write cited in Mr. Y 1990. I don't know. Okay, good. Fine. So let's move on, please. Ahlan Ali, thank you for joining. I think Ali, Fatima, and Faiza are the only ones belonging to the polydisciplinary faculty of Nador. But anyway, the live will be recorded, and more people will come because the students who asked me came from this institution or come from this institution. Okay, never mind. Oh, thanks a lot, Professor. What can we do without you? There is a lot you can do without me. All right. Anyway, I'm just joking. Thank you very much. And I wish you all the best, inshallah, in your work. I'm sorry. Nice. Good. Let's move on, please, to the first point. This first point is phonetics, and we have to talk about first articulation and secondary articulation. Well, there is nothing called first articulation. It's just used just to help the student understand that there is a secondary articulation. Normally, it's not called first articulation. It's called primary articulation, not first articulation. But we may not refer to it. Anyway, when we describe a speech sound, of course, we have 2 big families. When we speak about speech sound, you know what speech sound in the first place? What is a speech sound? A speech sound is any sound that we use to produce a language. When I say t, that's a speech sound. Why? Because I have a word like me, t. You have t there. So it's part of a word. But this is not a speech sound because we don't say something, for example, and then we add this in order to complete the word. Now, you know what the speech sound? Speech sounds are sounds that human beings produce by means of the vocal tract or the vocal apparatus, starting from the lungs and the oral cavity, the nasal cavity, and the articulators, all of them. So these are called speech sounds. And speech sounds bifurcate into 2 types. There are 2 types of speech sounds. This is called the major split. There are two families. So we have speech sound, and then you have consonants, and you have vowels. What is the major difference between a consonant and a vowel? Generally, consonants are characterized by they are produced by narrowing down the oral cavity, because the distance between the active articulator and the the active articulator and the passive articulator is somehow close. Vowels generally are produced with the two being far apart. That's why we say that vowels are sonorous, means they make a lot of noise. Why? Because the mouth is more open. We say it's not like saying th. In saying th, you have a little room for this noise to take place. So that's why we say that vowels are generally louder than consonants. So vowels are louder, and also vowels involve less constriction between the active articulator and the passive articulator. Nice. If there are specific questions, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking to the students, who are about to take, and examine these things. And this is okay, relevant also to S4 students. Some S4 students, S4 students at some of the universities, because this is going to be a course in S4, an S4 course. All right. Nohaila El-Haysan says, vowels involve free passage of air. Yes, that's true. And this is one point that distinguishes them from consonants. Now, the question is, and this is a very important thing, please, how do we describe vowels and consonants? Are they described in the same way? No, they are not described in the same way. Okay, so let's see how we can describe consonants and how we can describe vowels. Okay, if you want to describe a consonant, you need to talk about three things, three parameters, three elements. First, we need to talk about voicing. Is the sound voiced or is it voiceless? How do I know whether a sound is voiced or voiceless? By checking whether there is any vibration involved at the level of the vocal cords. How can I know? Very easy. Put your finger here. Say the sound, loudly, but not too loudly as to disturb the people around you in the classroom. Okay. And if you feel that there are vibrations here, it means that the sound is voiced. Like when I say v, like in very, v, I feel that there is vibration. But when I say free, where is vibration? No vibration. It means that the sound is voiceless. So a sound that is accompanied by vibration or with vibration is a voiced sound, while if there is no vibration, it is a voiceless sound. So we have this first thing. So voicing, we have to talk about voicing. We have to talk about place of articulation. What is place of articulation? It simply refers to the place in the mouth where the sound is produced. How many places in the mouth can we name? Very easily. We start from the outermost part of the mouth, which is the lips. So the first thing that we see when we get into the mouth are the lips. Lips are organs that we use for speech, of course. And when we want to produce a sound like p, for example, I just wonder whether you can produce the sound lip, the word lip. Can you say lip without your lips? No, you cannot. Why? Because you need your lips to say a p. Because if you don't have lips, if you don't use your lips, you will say li. You will not say lips. You understand? It means that p is a sound that requires the maneuver at the level of the lips. A maneuver at the level of the lips. That's why we refer to this as labial. Labial is the adjective that comes from lips. That's why we have labios in Spanish for lips. That's why we have lèvres developed into v historically. So we have lèvres. Okay, fine. Ain says mostly two sounds share one place of articulation, but they are different in voicing. Of course, we may have sounds that share this. So I'll come to this point in a moment. Karim, thank you. What you are saying is absolutely right. So let me finish this little introduction and come to the details, of course. All right. So we have the lips. The sounds that are produced by the lips are called labial sounds. If there are two lips, we call them bilabial sounds. So let me just very quickly, this is just a revision. I'm not teaching anything here. But if there are questions, if this is a call on or to those who are concerned with the makeup exam, if there is a question that they would like me to dwell on, please type it. This falls on your shoulders, okay, fair and square. Now, so we have labial sounds like p, b, and m. These are bilabial sounds. Why? Because you need two lips to produce them. So p, is it voiced or voiceless? P, no vibration, voiceless. So that's the place of articulation. That's the first parameter. Now, the second parameter is the place of articulation. So p is voiceless. We've talked about that. And because we need two lips, we call it bilabial. So p is a voiceless bilabial. B, is it voiced or voiceless? B, there is vibration. It's voiced, of course. And because we need two lips, it's also called bilabial. How about the sound m? M, it's voiced, of course. And it's bilabial because you need two lips to produce it. You may ask me the question, Kifash, B is a voiced bilabial and M is a voiced bilabial. Yes, they are similar here, but they will differ in number 3, in the third parameter, which is called the manner of articulation. Inshallah, we will come to it in a moment. Okay, so let's just briefly, this is very brief, but if there are, it's your responsibility to type your questions here, as long as we are here, where you ask specific questions, or if you would like me to repeat something or to explain something, to provide you examples of something, this is addressed specifically to the students who are immediately concerned with this because they have a makeup exam. Anyway, let me go back to the explanation. So we have bilabials. If we get, after bilabials, if we get one step into the mouth, we have the place, the sounds that are produced with the lip. Two lips? No, it's just one lip this time. And with the teeth, like when you say f and v. If you want to say f like fine, f, what you need to do actually is take the lower lip and have it make some contact with the front teeth. F. So here, do we have a labial? Yes. Bilabial? No. Because you don't take two teeth, something will happen if you do that. You see? So here we are talking about labio, because we have just one. It's not bi. Bi is just for two. Okay? Labio and then dental. Labio-dental. Dental because we have teeth. Dental in French, you only dent, okay? Dientes in Spanish, so you have dental. Labio-dental. What is a labio-dental? Just imagine you get into the exam and the teacher asks you this question, what is a labio-dental consonant? You will say, of course, a labio-dental consonant is a consonant that is produced by making or by having the lower lip contact the upper teeth. So labio-dental, it means you have two places of articulation actually. You have the lower lip and you have the upper teeth. So call it labio-dental. How many labio-dentals do we have in English? We have only two. We have f and then we have v. These are the two consonants that you produce by your lip together with your teeth. Is that fine? Okay, so far we have talked about two places of articulation. We talked about the bilabial. We talked about the labiodental. About revision. Now, we talked about f and v, and we said that there are labiodental consonants. Now, let's start with the voicing. F is what in terms of voicing? F, I put the finger here, and the f, there is no vibration. F, no vibration. Say it for 3-4 seconds just to see. No vibration. Peace. Okay. So it's voiceless. So f is a voiceless labiodental. V, let me see, v, there is vibration, so it's a voiced labiodental. Okay, okay, nice. Let me see if there are any questions relating to this, and then move on. Saeed Rafi, dear professor, I have a question regarding the metrical phonology. Do we really need to study it? Metrical phonology is worth studying when you conduct a piece of research on it. Yes, it always adds to your knowledge of phonology, of course, and it's the beginning of metrical phonology, is the beginning of what we call the nonlinear framework. Okay, because you have the linear and the nonlinear. Started with Goldsmith 1976. That's what I'm used to say. Okay, so I'll have to come back to this issue, Cesare. Thank you very much. Well, yeah, it is worth, especially if it's worth studying, especially if you intend to teach that one day or you work on it. That will be good. Light FF says, I was your student, Muhammad V University. You are the best professor in the... Oh, that's too much for me. See, Light FF. So humble and nice in front of camera. And thank you. It's really nice. بارك الله فيك. هذا كيرفع شوية المورال, and that's nice. Thank you so much, Light. It's very kind of you. Labiodental says Ilham Ka. Simurshid, Mr. Light FF, I met him in real... Oh, Simurshid is second in Light FF. Thank you so much. Okay. And Natalie confirms. Barakallahu fik. Okay. Look, Saeed says the best way to teach voicing is to tell students to produce these two sounds. Yes. To ask them to produce them for 6, 7, 5 seconds, and then they will see. Okay, nice. So very good so far, so good. And Siari confirms that everything is good so far. So we are talking now about the second parameter for describing a consonant. عندنا ثلاثة الحوايج. ثلاثة باش نهضروا على une description. Pour faire une description d'une consonne, خصنا نهضروا على voicing, place of articulation اللي حنا دابا we are doing it, and the third one ما بغيتش نديرها دابا because it's going to be confusing. Okay, so let's talk about these things for the moment. So we talked about voicing فيها غير جوج, voiced, voiceless. Place of articulation, we have to know these. Start from the lips and then get into the mouth. Life will be good. And then we will move to number 3, which is manner of articulation. I think it deserves an independent discussion. Of course, it's going to be a basis for a revision as well. Now, let's move on, please. We talked about bilabial. We talked about labiodental. And now, if we want to go one step further into the mouth, we have sounds that are produced by placing the tip of the tongue between the upper teeth and the lower teeth. Like when you say th and the. Say th for 5 seconds, and you will realize that you have put the tip of the tongue between the lips. Don't bite, please, don't bite. If you bite, you will, you will miss the makeup, the makeup exam. Okay, so you say th and the. When you say th, you are placing the tongue between the upper teeth and the lower teeth. And this idea of between is expressed in the prefix inter. So we have dental, it means teeth, and inter means between. Okay, so interdental are the sounds that we use, are the sounds we produce by placing the tip of the tongue between the upper teeth and the lower teeth. How many labiodentals do we have in English? In Arabic, standard Arabic, not Moroccan Arabic, it's generally. In some dialects, of course. Okay, so in standard Arabic we have th, z. In Amazigh, maybe especially in northern dialects like Tarifit, you have th and th, but elsewhere you have t and d. Okay, anyway, th, the, these are the two sounds that can qualify as interdental because these are the only sounds in English. So let's talk about English. That are produced by placing the tip of the tongue between the upper teeth and the lower teeth. Good. Now, For the symbols, I don't know if I need symbols. It's a pity that we don't have the students who are immediately concerned with that. But anyway, it's a revision. If you would like me to write the symbols here or anything, please let me know, because we have a lot to cover. So this is why I am trying to advance, relatively quickly. Okay. Hello, Professor. What's the difference between phonetics and phonology? رقية وهدي. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Let me just, so that I will not confuse the other students here. So far, we talked about, now where are we? We are discussing linguistics. More specifically, we are discussing consonants and how to describe them. If you want to describe a consonant, you need to talk about voicing, place of articulation, manner of articulation. Voicing, we discussed it. Now we are in place. Later, we will have manner. So I will pause here to answer Raqiya Uhaddi's question, because she says, hello, Professor, what's the difference between phonetics and phonology? The difference between phonetics, okay, both phonetics and phonology are concerned with the study of speech sounds. So phonetics can study P, phonology can study P. Why? Because P is a speech sound, okay? The difference is that they study them in different ways. They study them in different ways. How? Give us in different ways. The job of phonetics is to provide us with a description of consonants and vowels. For example, phonetics, the job of phonetics is to say that the sound P is a voiceless bilabial stop. This is what phonetics does. It's just to describe. It's not the business of phonetics, for example, to see how P is pronounced in English and whether there are languages that have P or languages that don't have. No, it's not the business. It's not the business of phonetics. In phonetics, it's like phonetics says, well, bring me something like a sound P, and I am sure I will take selfies for it and provide you with pictures and that show all the details there. That's phonetics. Okay? So phonetics is concerned with the physical description of a given sound. Okay? It cannot, for example, say that P is an important sound in English because it has a contrastive function. Okay? For example, pen and den, for example. Phonetics does not do this. Phonetics just describes. Okay? Phonology, on the other hand, and by the way, phonetics does not refer to, the phonetics of, for example, P in English and versus P in Arabic or whatever. No, it just describes. That's all. It has the function of a selfie taker. It doesn't work on the importance or the function of a sound in a given language. ما كتهضر لا على لو ستاتيو ديال sound. ما كتهضر على l'importance ديالو. It doesn't compare. It doesn't do anything. It's not its job. داخله سقراص هاد phonetics. Okay, nice. So this is phonetics. The phonology, on the other hand, what does it do? Let's take the sound P. Phonetics شنو تقول عليها? Phonetics says that P is a voiceless bilabial stop. Phonology takes the same sound, حيت كيشتركوا في هذا speech sound. It takes the same sound and says that the sound P in English is contrastive. It has a phonemic status. It's an independent phoneme. Why? In Moroccan Arabic, for example, it's not. Because we cannot produce, in Moroccan Arabic, we cannot produce two words that are similar, except that one of them has P and the other one has B. In English, we can, okay? Pick, it starts with a P. I can take out the P and I can replace it with tick, for example, to tick. And then I take this T, I can replace sick. So it means that it's a phoneme. So this is the respect in which phonetics and phonology differ. What do they share? They share the fact that they are interested, they are concerned with speech sounds. In what way are they different? They are different because phonetics is concerned with the physical properties or characteristics of a sound. It just describes it. Phonology is talking about its status and its function and its importance. Okay. Nice. Okay. So Natalie says the place of articulation specifies where the vocal tract, where in the vocal tract the restriction is. Yes, that's true. It means which part of the mouth blocks the air. Okay, the manner of articulation specifies the narrow of construction. We will talk about that, Natalie, in probably in similar terms, of course. See, Yusuf Darwish. Hello, teacher. How are you? I'm fine. Thank you so much. Look at Si Said providing us with the phonetic transcription of th, like in thanks, or as in thanks, versus the, as in there. These are the two phonetic symbols that describe these consonants. Thank you very much, Mr. Said Rafi. Thank you so much. Yusuf Darwish, or Driush. Yusuf Driush, I have a question concerning the research project. You are welcome. I'd rather you stayed with us perhaps until probably the end of the session, Mr. Yusuf, and ask this question. I would be very happy to answer your question with the required amount of detail, because if I try to open up that question, I am afraid I will confuse the friends here who have the exam. And, so since we have started this, we need to finish it. So I will answer for the moment, questions relating to this specific point of phonetics and phonetics, see? And then later on, of course, whenever there is a question, we can come back to this. Please, Mr. Yusuf, stay with us and ask the question at the end, because there is an answer to it. Okay. Asma, hello, Asma. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for always clapping your hands when you come. Thank you so much. Nathalie Leblanc, Phonetics studies the production and perception of speech sounds. Yes, of course. Phonetics, it's the production, the perception, and also there is what we call auditory phonetics. It's more of the physical characteristics of a sound, as you say. Thank you. Iman Imanu says, Professor, please, I have a problem with the transcription of words. Look, Iman. There is a tip, there is a quick piece of advice. A long time ago, I advised people here, the students here, to get a copy of a good English dictionary, preferably Oxford, because in Oxford, there is something like what Mr. Saeed Rafi has written. There is a symbol that you probably may not know at the beginning because you said you have a problem, but this problem will be quickly solved because you have an example next to it. For example, just imagine you don't know how to transcribe th. Look at what Saeed Rafi, maybe 2 comments or 3 before you, Iman, 1, 2, 3, maybe the 4th comment before you. You have th, you have the symbol between 2 slashes, and you have thanks. It means that this sound that you may not know is a th sound because it starts thanks. The is for there. So there is a very, I think half an hour, Iman, be relaxed, you can learn these things very quickly. So just go to the dictionary page, preferably Oxford. Even I think it's also in the pocket dictionary, the small version. Or ask a friend of yours if you don't have it. Ask a friend of yours to take a picture of that page where you have phonetic transcription. Get down, to it, and after half an hour, you will become an excellent writer of transcription. Of phonetic transcription. Yeah, because when you look at it, you look at it, in the form of sentences, in the form of words, you say, wow, how come that, people know this and I don't know? But it's very easy. So you start, that's the first step. Later on, you can build on that. You can imagine words, maybe you write them down and check the dictionary and see how they are written. And I'm sure, or just if you don't have a dictionary, you can type, the word and write next to it in Google transcription, and you get the transcription. Sometimes there are tips for self-training, and I'm sure this is not going to take a lot of time from you. Okay, asking question. That's Iman. Okay, nice. All right. Si Mustafa Morshid, phonetics is general. Thank you. It describes all speech sounds in human beings. Phonology, on the other hand, is language specific. That's true because in phonology, we necessarily need to talk about language X or language Y. But in phonetics, we don't care where the sound comes from. That's absolutely right. Phonetics is universal. Phonology is language specific. You are saying that in very good terms as well, Mr. Said, Mustafa Said. Phonetics is with phones, whereas phonology with phonemes. And we don't want to confuse people here, Mustafa, with phones. And so let's relax this requirement that there are, that we need to talk about phones, because I'm sure they did not cover the term, maybe phoneme, allophone, phone, maybe probably later on at later stages. Okay, Sir Abduni Ali says, phonology also called functional phonetics. Yes, some authors would refer to that as functional phonetics, but it's just an appellation. The technical word is phonology, but you can understand it's like functional phonetics. The term is self-explanatory because you have the word functional talking about the function, and function cannot take place only when cannot take place unless we talk about a specific language. Okay, thank you, Si Mustafa Driwish. You are welcome, my friend. So I'm sure I will answer your question in a moment. Iman, look for this book, Transcription Practice for International Finance. Wow, thank you. Look at what Said is showing us here, a treasure for those of you who would like to learn more about transcription. Okay, they can make use of this very important book. Important, I judge it just from the title. I judge the book from the cover, despite the fact that Proverb says never judge that. But Said is a reliable person, and I'm very happy that he has shared with us this. I myself will see if I could find a copy of the book. Thank you very much, Mr. Said. Now let's go back to the to the description of speech sounds. So we talked about, we are in the place of articulation. We'll specify live for us. Sir, with all respect, will you specify a live for us S5 students? Some of us are struggling about in linguistics. Where do you belong, Mr. BRRRE? Which university do you come from? Because this is intended to, help the students, who will take up, who have a makeup exam in Introduction to Linguistics. If you are in need, Mr. BRRE, if you are in need of another session, all that you need to do, please, is to send me a private message on the Facebook page, Your Academic Companion. I request that you are from Silwan University. Yeah, this is what I'm doing now. Probably, if we don't have enough time today, then I can have another live session tomorrow without any problem at all. Okay, you are welcome. So we are doing it. We are starting from phonetics, and we started with phonetics. So we have talked about consonants, how we can describe consonants. Thank you, Natalie. That's the Facebook page. And this is a call for everyone who is watching us here to go and hit the subscribe button to this YouTube channel, as well as to the Facebook page, because later on there will be some sort of repartition of functions, some stuff, some content, some type of content will be uploaded to the Facebook page, other types of contents. I'm still thinking of how we can organize that, because I am also thinking of introducing another language here, probably in Arabic. But that's just an idea, because I get questions from students who write their theses on issues relating to linguistics and education, but in the Arabic language, because they have been trained in Arabic. So I'm considering, small videos, to help them probably understand some of the concepts in research. Never mind. So thank you very much, everyone. Let's move on, please. So we talked about voice in. Now we're talking about place of articulation. In place of articulation, we started with the lips, bilabial, labiodental, interdental. We have seen this. Let's move on. Now, sorry. When you get one step into the mouth, you have a place in the mouth that is immediately next to the teeth. Okay, when you put your tongue to the upper teeth, you have that limit, that edge, and you have a little mountain there. It's like a mountain. It's called the alveolar ridge. The alveolar ridge. This alveolar ridge is the place where you put your tongue, the tip of your tongue, when you want to say t. If you want to say t, where do you put the tip of the tongue? It's not on the teeth because it's going to be th. It's not between the teeth, but rather it's in the place just beyond the teeth, behind the teeth. This is called the alveolar ridge. And the sounds that are produced at this level here are called alveolar sounds. Alveolar sounds. Okay, what are alveolar sounds? Alveolar sounds, this is an alveolar sound. This is an alveolar sound. By the way, here is a technique to make life easy for you, ladies and gentlemen. Always try to learn sounds in pairs. For example, what's the difference between these two? There is just one difference, which is voice in. This is voiceless. This is voiced. The rest are the same. This is an alveolar. This is an alveolar. This is a stop, as we will see later, and this is a stop. So here we have then we have s, and then we have n, and I see Said is writing them. Okay, n, and then this is n. Okay, Mr. Said, I am not really convinced of it's not convinced, but for pedagogical reasons. For n, for n, it's okay. I think I have it here. These are the alveolars. For the l and r, we will give them another name later on. We will call it, l will be called lateral, and the other one will be called retroflex. So let's not call them alveolar for the moment. So it's better to use just these as alveolars, because the full description later on will be, for example, voiceless, Alveopalatal, Africates, voiced, voiced lateral liquid. Where is alveolar here? There is no alveolar. So it's better to keep it that way. Someone, Mr. Yusuf Drewish, let's Yusuf, Mr. Yusuf Drewish, we do not call it palatal. Palatal are something different. Okay, look at this. Shuf. Mr. Yusuf, are you there? Type 1 if you are there, because I will show you a technique to distinguish alveolar from a palatal. Type. You cannot type? Maybe there is a problem with connection. Okay. Yeah, you are there, Yusuf. Look, the difference between an alveolar and a palatal is that an alveolar consonant is produced by putting the tip of the tongue immediately after your teeth, like t and like s. S is also, it doesn't touch 100%, but it's something like this, just a little bit. This is s and this is t, but it's the same place, which is the alveolar ridge. The alveolar ridge is this little mountain. So you have the teeth. Imagine that this is the tooth here, okay? And this is the roof of the mouth. So we are talking here. That's the alveolar ridge, just immediately behind the teeth. The palatal sound is produced just here, immediately after the alveolar. Okay? For example, you have the sound sh, like this, and j. This is the sound for j. This is not a z, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a z. It's a j sound, because the z in phonetics is like this. Okay? So it's like this, and this is this. Okay, So these are palatals. These are alveolars, Mr. Yusuf. If you want to distinguish, if you want to see the difference between alveolars and palatals, it's very easy. Look, try to say s and then sh, alternatively s, sh, s, sh. Say it in a rapid succession, and you will feel that your tongue is going to the alveolar ridge and retracting to the palate, going to the alveolar ridge and retracting to the palate. Try it, and you will see that there is a difference in place of articulation between, the alveolar and the palatal. Okay, so these are the alveolars. These are the palatal sounds. Okay, you can see alveolars. These are called palatals. All right, nice. Let's move on, please. Let's move on because there are things that we need to cover. Okay. This is an alveolar. This is a palatal. But we have a sound in English that combines the two, which is like when you say chair. Chair starts with what? Does it start with t, or does it start with sh, or does it start with ch? It starts with ch. Chair, like this. Chair, something like this. Chair, like this. Anyway, you have this. Ch. Ch and j. We have them in English, of course, because they contrast with other consonants. We call them alash ch, ch, and j. 50% of these sounds are alveolars. The other 50% are palatals. So we call them alveopalatals. Alveopalatals. Some would call them palato-alveolars. Palato-alveolar, alveopalatal, perfect. Okay? So these are called alveo. Alveo حيث فيها une partie alvéolaire اللي هي ت. عاد كنكتبوا palatal because the second part, which is sh, is alveopala. نقدر نكتبوا حتى palatal. Alveopalatal, all right? Nice. So ch and j are alveopalatals. Are they voiced or voiceless? Let's see. Ch, ch, nothing. Ch, no vibration here. It's voiceless. So ch is a voiceless alveopalatal. J, there is vibration. So it's voiced. So j is a voiced alveopalatal. Ulla palato-alveolar, it depends. So both are correct. Is that fine? Now let's move on to the other one. Ch, is voiceless and j is voiced. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you so much. Okay. And then further into the mouth, we have, also, so we forgot one here for the palatals. We have this, but we also have the y sound, y, like year. Okay? It's this. This is how you write y. It's like a j, but it's a y. Okay? So this is a y sound. The y sound, it's like this. Y is another palatal sound. So we refer to this as a voiced palatal. We will see that we will call this glide later on. Okay. Yes, like the labiodental you previously mentioned. Thank you. Yes, it's a composed word. Thank you very much. Yes, exactly. Nice. So we are done with this. We move to the next one, which is, we will go one step into the oral cavity, and this time with the sounds k and g. Of course, they are not produced in the same place where we produce t. They are not produced in the same place where we produce sh. They are produced in a further place back in the mouth, which is the highermost part in the dome that you have inside the mouth. The back of the tongue moves to the velum. That part is called a velum. We have the teeth, And then we have the little mountain there, which is referred to as the alveolar ridge. And then you have the palate. And then you have the velum. Okay. So the velum, it's probably the central part of the tongue, the back part. Okay, it's the more the central part of the tongue that moves. Anyway, the tongue, let's say the tongue touches the velum. So the velum, velum, and the adjective that comes from velum is velar. Okay, so velar. Because if you want to produce k to pronouns, produce here pronouns k and g, your tongue necessarily has to touch this highest part in the mouth, which is called the velum. That's why we say k and g are velar consonants, velar sounds. Okay, so we have three velar sounds in English. We have k, g, and k, g, and then you have this. You have this. It's a nasal. We will see that. K, g, ng. If you say them one after another, you will see that you don't move your tongue, which means what? Which means that they have the same place of articulation. K, g, ng. ما كنتحركوش اللسان كيبقى تما بلاصتو. Okay? Nice. This is velar, this is velar, this is velar. This is voiceless velar, no voice. This is voiced velar, g. There is vibration. Ng, of course, it's a voiceless velar because, okay, there is vibration. What happened today? We need more likes there, please, for the page to get promoted. Hit the like button. That's not going to take from, voilà, 31, yalla. More likes, please. More likes to encourage the page. Okay? More likes, please. Voilà. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so we have this. We are talking about the velar sounds. I don't know if you, I wish I could interact with people here, but I don't know whether you dealt with other languages than English, because if you didn't, then we can go directly to the others. Did you talk about the place of articulation, uvular? I don't know if you did that, but this describes sounds like the Arabic sound kh, like for example it's a uvular sound. Okay, it's a voiceless uvular, and r is a voiced uvular sound. I'm afraid you did not do that, perhaps. Okay, yeah. Iman has already tried. Imanu says sing. Yeah, no, that's good. Glad that you complained about transcription, and now you are helping us with this. Thank you very much. Thank you, Iman. Make sure it's not difficult, and it will become a hobby for you. Believe me, if you, especially when you see that it's manageable and it's easy to handle. All right. Now let's move on, please, to the I am basing this on the sounds of English. So let's go directly to the glottal, to the glottis. In the glottis, we have the sound h. Okay, the sound h. This sound in English, the sound h is voiceless. This is unlike Arabic. We say come here, here. It's not come here. It's not a h. That's in Arabic, yes, but in English, no, it's a here. Come here. I'm home. I'm going home. It's not I'm going home. It's I'm going home. Okay, very good. So here you have this h. It's a glottal. We have another glottal sound, which is this. Look at this. It's like this. Okay. Our friend here, BRRE, has written this as well. Yes. This one describes we call it a glottal stop. ما بنش نهضروا على stop tempo. Okay, it's called a glottal. And this one here is also a glottal. We have two glottal sounds in English. This one is a voiceless glottal. This one here, we don't need to specify it for voicing. See, هذه الهمزة، هذه هي الهمزة، هذا sound في الهمزة. We do not need to specify it for voicing in English. علاش? Because it's illogical. At the time when so the vocal cords that vibrate or do not vibrate, they are busy. They are busy making contact with each other to produce. They are functioning as place of articulation, so they cannot vibrate. You understand? So we say just a glottal stop. Call it عقلوا عليها الله يخليكم الهمزة سي glottal stop. This one is a glottal fricative, as we will see. It's a voiceless. هذا يحق فيه الvoiceless والvoicing. هذا نوع. هذا unique sound. ما عندوش خو اللي هو voice. هذا عنده هو الهاء العربية par exemple. Is that fine? Good. So very. I did not take enough time to provide further explanations because there are other things that we need to cover. If there is a need for another session tomorrow, I can still do it without any problem, but this will depend on how far we will go in this. Okay, now that we are done with place of articulation in the course of describing a consonant, because we need to talk about three things, three parameters. If in an exam, the teacher asks you to describe or to provide a description for consonants, bear in mind that you have to have three adjectives there. Lula, voiced or voiceless. Very easy. You need to put your finger here and then, but don't push so that at least you will spend your exam in the safest circumstances possible. Okay, so you have this. Don't push. You see, هنا we will have voiced or voiceless. The second parameter, يعني adjective number 2, it should be about the place of articulation. It's where in the mouth. هنا the only challenge that some of our students here have is just the adjective. Okay, so look at this. Anyway, the adjective. So lips, the adjective from lips is labial. When you have two, it means bilabial for p and b. For f, we don't have two lips that are involved. We have, so you need to know this. Bilabial, labiodental, interdental, alveolar, and then palatal, alveopalatal, velar, glottal. Point final. Thank you. Okay. So Natalie Imano says yes. Mustafa, yeah, thank you. You have bottle, the pronunciation bottle, that's true. I believe the diacritics should not be on the L in sing, Iman. Pay attention to that on the day of the exam. It's a co-articulation. It's co-articulation. The best way to describe it is by simply writing sing. Now this will depend on how detailed she would like to be. Personally, if she were in my exam and my intention is to have a word like sing described and she writes it with the diacritic, it means that this is detailed. We are saying that ng is assimilating or giving this nasal feature to the E. So it's just about how detailed she would like it to be. When I don't think the professor will say anything about this because it's correct anyway. All right, nice. BRRE says it's easy. I'm very happy to hear that you are saying that. Thank you. Okay. Mustafa, we should encourage her. That's for sure. That's true. Look, ladies and gentlemen, Natalie has given us a summary of all the places of articulation. Please copy them and leave them with you and try to do some practice with with them. Okay. Sometimes, I observe that some students cannot simply remember. Either they cannot remember the terms like these because they don't exist in ordinary language, or sometimes they confuse them. One way of I think I explained that in a clear way. علاش كنسميوها bilabial يعني bilabial labios. This way, I think it will help you, understand these terms and retain them and remember them better. Is that fine? So we talked about voicing, we talked about place of articulation. We are now going to talk about manner of articulation. Please pay attention to this. life will be easy with this. Just try to follow. I'm sure the explanation will help. What is manner of articulation? Wait a minute. Let's talk about manner of articulation. The best way of understanding manner of articulation is what I will say now. Just wait. Okay. This is the best way of understanding manner of articulation. Look at this. We have this line, and we have this line. Okay? How far are they from each other in terms of millimeters? Maybe 3-4 millimeters. Okay? That's scenario one. Number two, we may have a line like this and another line like this. The distance between the two lines is not like here, is not the same as the distance between the two lines here. And we may have a third scenario. It's this and this. Look at this. They don't have the same distances. This is exactly what happens in our mouth. When we speak, our tongue, or what we call an active articulator, because it moves, active here, it moves, our tongue and our lower lip, can either make, نسينا هالقضية هذه. كاين هذا السيناريو الأول اللي هو هذا. Okay? The two lines here, it's like when you say p, p, هادو هما p. It's like our lips meeting. Now, when we have, and of course this is exactly what we also have in t. There is this, they are like this. Is that okay? What happens when we have a situation like this? The situation is that you bring together two articulators, like the two lips or the tongue and the alveolar ridge, and you make a tight contact, full contact. But full contact, no, it's a full contact, okay, between the two articulators. What's the consequence? The consequence is that the air is not allowed at all. The air is blocked. The air is obstructed, obstructed. Okay, it's a total closure. It's like this. Look at this. Blood. No water gets out of it. Okay, because it's hermetically sealed. Is when I had hermetically, huh? Okay, we say hermetically sealed. So it's like it's hermetic also in French. Okay, fermeture hermétique. You cannot have anything that will come out. So this can be found in p, d, t, k, etc. These are called, okay, we call the sounds that are produced by not allowing the air to get out of the mouth. We call them stops. And they're stops because the air that comes from the lungs outwards is blocked, is stopped. غادي نصح واحد الخطأ بسيط عفاكم. الناس اللي كتقول plosive and I agree with you. ولكن is a stop, all stops are plosives? No. All plosives are stops? Yes. Anthony, what's the difference? The difference is that a stop, which is also a plosive, donc يستحسن نقولوا stop ونهنيو راسنا. يعني اللي بقى عنده مشكل ديال سميتو because the manner is a stop. Plosive is just one way of expressing the idea. Like when I say pen, and then when I open, the air bursts out. It's like an explosion. That's why we call it plosive. Okay? But is it a stop? Yes, it is a stop. Okay? لأن لو كان stop is a synonym of plosive, حتى n is a stop. ولكن is it a plosive? No, it's not. Because there is nothing that bursts out. يا كفايزة صريخ قيد وين شاتور الدين you sorry you wrote plosive and you deleted it, but I think I have clarified the difference between the stop and the plosive. Please, for the place of articulation, you'd better call it stop. صافي تهنا وخلينا plosive وهذا, you know, it's unless your teacher says is it a stop, is it a plosive ولا non plosive. هنا خصنا نعرفوا. دونك شنو هو البلوزيف؟ البلوزيف هو بحال you block and you open suddenly. You hear بحال it's like a little burst. بالحق when you say m and n راه حتى هما stops, because what is a stop? A stop is when we block the air at the level of the oral cavity. M واخا even if the air gets out of the nose, but as long as there is this blockage in the mouth, it's still a stop. But it's not a plosive. Therefore, a stop and the plosive are not the same. All plosives are stops? Yes. All plosives are stops? Yes. All stops are plosives? No. Voilà. I hope you understand. Suat Khan and Ruqiyya, I think they have managed to understand this. I'm very happy. Thank you everyone. Here as you know people شوف les français كيقولوا les occlusives, une occlusive. بالاسبانيول on a occlusiva, c'est-à-dire occlusive means there is an occlusion بغض النظر واش plosive not plosive, you know, but that's one way of describing. In English it's called a stop, that's all. صافي. Okay, قلت لكم اللهم if your professor will ask you about whether the stop is a plosive or non a plosive, هنا نتفق معك. But if it's just like that, the manner, then stop is the one that is widely used and the one that you know that describes this manner of articulation. فهمنا ولا ما فهمناش هادشي؟ مزيان. هاي تك. نمشيو للحالة الثانية هنايا. Now this, if my lips are like this, no air gets out of the mouth. But just imagine my lips are like this. As we say, as if you are blowing the fire. You know, is there going to be the air? Is the air going to be blocked? Is the air going to be blocked? No, it will not be blocked. Will the air be free? No, it will not be free 100%. But it's a plosive. ولكن يا إيمان, I'm talking to Iman Imanu. It's a plosive, but call it a stop. Yes, it is a plosive. Yes, it is a plosive. You can call it a stop. There's no problem with that. It's a stop, which is a plosive. Okay, B is a stop. علاش stop and plosive? It's علاش stop بعد علاش B is a stop, because you say B, you block the air from the mouth, you don't allow it until after some little seconds there, or milliseconds, or some little time. It's a plosive because when you release, you see it's like an explosion. It's a plosive. Fine. Okay. Abu Bakr Bouhaddou, so Mustafa says stop calling a plosive unless the professor instructs them to make a distinction. But I doubt whether this is the case. It just happens that this exists in some textbooks. That's it. Implosive. حتى les Français utilisent aussi implosive. You know, because there are, you know, different authors use different terms, but they boil down to the same thing. غير هو, you can't call a nasal a plosive. ما يمكنش. M is not a plosive. So stop is the term that gathers كيجمع هاد الشيء كله في stop. سيبو بكلب وحدو. Hello, sir. I hope you are doing well. What are diacritics? What are their functions in languages? Yes, a diacritic is just a little sign. So you have a consonant, let's say, or a vowel. Let's say a vowel. Let's say it's more on vowels, but also on consonants. Like let's say l. L. If you have a normal L, and we will see that in a moment. And if you want, there is a difference. For example, the L sound here, you have a difference in pronunciation when you say leave. Look at how I pronounce leave, leave. And you have fell, the past of fall, or fall itself, fall. So you have leave and fall. Are the two L sounds pronounced in the same way? No. Okay. So one of them, the L, is called a clear L, and the other one is called a dark L. And how can I use make a distinction between a normal L and a dark L? It's by using a diacritic. Diacritic كنديروا شي حاجة هكا. هاد اللعيبة هنايا. You know, what is a diacritic? It's just a sign that can distinguish one sound from another. Like, for example, when you say V, and I think Imanu has, there was a little discussion on the transcription of a word there. So you have, let's say A, and because you have a nasal sound here, N, you have a diacritic like this. You mark it. So a diacritic is a sign, a little symbol that we put either, usually it's on the top of the sound or next to it to indicate a different pronunciation. That's it. Okay? So نرجعوا لهذا الشيء على فكرة. Now, هنا we are done with this. Here, what is the degree of freedom? Degree of freedom, ماشي ديال statistics. Okay. What is the degree? How free is the sound here? Can the air move freely here? Yes or no? If my mouth is open like this. Okay? If my mouth is open like this, of course the air will go out. If it's open just 1 little millimeter, the air will go out. But it will go out with difficulty. You understand? It will go out with difficulty. It will not go out like saying, or is 100% free. But, when you open just a little bit, the mouth, the air will move, but it will move with difficulty. And this difficult movement of the air usually involves a sound. You hear a sound there. It's like when you have I don't know, when you were kids. When you were kids, I'm sure you were blowing the balls. You remember or no? The balloon. Sorry, not the ball. The balloon. Okay, you try to inflate it by your mouth. You see, and when it's full of air, if you take its neck and stretch it a little bit, you will hear a noise. Yes or no? It means what? It means that the air is moving. Yes, but it's moving with difficulty because you are stretching the neck of the balloon. Yes or no? So it makes a sound. This sound is called a turbulent sound. It's like a friction. It's a friction. That's why the sounds that are produced with this little approximation is called a fricative. Okay? شنو هو الفريكاتيف؟ وهم يقال fricative, since many of them are from, many of our friends here are from Nado. You see? Thank you, Mohan. Thank you. Nice to hear this from you. What is a fricative? شنو هو fricative؟ fricative منين جت fricative؟ منين جت؟ fricative comes from friction. شنو هي friction؟ friction هو الفريك. friction, you freak like this. you make a friction by moving, two objects like, look, small. That's a friction that you can hear. Okay, so when you have a sound like you are allowing the air to move only, with you give it just little freedom to move, and the consequence is that you hear an audible friction as a result. The narrower, the mouth, the more audible the friction is. Mustafa, it came spontaneously, believe me. Yeah, the passage of the air is partial. Yani it's not total. Yani it's not free. Thank you, Mr. Ali. Yes. Okay, so the sounds that are produced by constraining, كنقولوا to constrain هي ما تعطيش الحرية. The movement of the air, you constrain it, you control it somehow. Okay, the consequence of this controlling of the air is an audible friction, which we refer, and the sounds are referred to as fricatives. Let's just list some of the fricatives that we have in English. Okay. Fricatives. B. Are they fricatives? No, they are not. Okay. Now, let's move on. Th and the. Are they fricatives? Yes, they are. علاش? Because we are putting the tongue, the tongue touches the teeth. You can't say th without touching, but you don't make a close contact. You leave some air out. So the consequence is, thank you, Faiza, thank you. Thank you very much. But I think it's as long as it's as long as it serves the purposes of explaining, that's good. الاشيو ديال الفركه وديال والله they just come out of but I apologize if I am out of à côté de la plaque, comme on dit en français. Okay, let's just move on, please. Nice. Fricatives. عندي th, and then you have the. هذا it's a th sound in English. It's not a t, it's a th. It's like the one in Terifit. You can have ثلاثة pour dire ثلاثة. ثلاثة, it's a th here. Okay? The like ذيها, the. So we say these two are fricatives, aren't they? They are. شنو قلنا على الفويسين ديالهم؟ ناخذ الث for example. الث. شنو هو الفويسين ديالو؟ Is it voiced or voiceless? th. Voiceless. واخا. Place of articulation, what is it? We said قلنا بلي it's interdental. So th is a voiceless interdental زيد fricative. Okay? th is a voiceless interdental fricative. هذا ذ لطيف. It's ماشي vibrating. It's okay. The here is a voiced because there is vibration. It's interdental and it's fricative. نعاود. The voiceless interdental fricative. The voiced interdental fricative. صافي. Okay. Let's say th and the. Th and the. Th, look at my lips here. Th, the lower lip touches the upper teeth. Okay. Th. Th, voiced or voiceless? Th, voiceless. Because I am using my lip and the upper teeth, I have labiodental. This is for revision, okay? So we have th is labiodental, voiceless labiodental. Is it a fricative? Bien sûr, it's a fricative because it's like a friction. Here, the is voiced. There is vibration. So the is a voiced labiodental fricative. فاهمين؟ dental or interdental. لا 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 لا. سي علي. سي علي, are you talking about th or are you talking about th? If you are talking about th, خص تكون فيه داك inter. علاش؟ لأن the upper teeth and the lower teeth are involved and there is this idea of between. So call it interdental. بالنسبة th and the, they are interdental. شنو هو الفرق بين dental و interdental؟ الدنتال interdental كيبانوا لنا في لا فونولوجي. Okay, the feature dental, for example, or dental consonants, dental sounds. You know, اللي كيجمع الانتردنتال وغيرها. المهم wherever there are teeth involved. Okay, so please, you know, for they call them interdental. Life will be easy, you know, on you when it comes to these things. Okay, so we are done with that. Let's say s and z, s and then z. S. Is it voiced or voiceless? S. والسكرس شوي ما كاينش الحس ديالها. No vibration. Z, there is vibration. It's like you know, you have a fly near the ear. Z, that's vibration. So S is voiceless, Z is voiced. What is the place of articulation? We talked about it. The place of articulation for S is alveolar. So S is voiceless, alveolar. Z is voiced, alveolar. Manner of articulation, fricatives. So S is a voiceless, alveolar fricative. علاش fricative? Because there is contact, but there is no full occlusion. There is just partial air. That's why we hear this friction. So S is a voiceless alveolar fricative. Z is a voiced alveolar fricative. نمشيو. We are getting into the math. Sh and J. Sh and J. ما بقيناش alveolar. We have gone one step into the mouth. احنا دابا في palate. So we are talking about palatal. So sh is a voiceless, sh voiceless, j voiced. So sh voiceless, alveopalatal. Sorry. It's just palatal. So voiceless palatal fricative, j voiced palatal fricative. Okay. Voiced palatal fricative. صافي سالينا نمشيو. شنو عندي؟ بقينا في سميتو في الجلوتال اللي هضرنا عليها هذه الهاء ديال لونجلي بالحق. In English the h sound ماشي بحال العربيه. In English the h sound is voiceless. The h sound in Arabic is voiced. Hirun and هذا, and you feel that is the her, the real her. But in English, no, I'm going home. Come here. How are you? Etc. So it's the her is a little bit softened. So it's what? It's a voiceless alveolar fricative. Her is a voiceless alveolar. I'm saying alveolar. Correct. Please. Voiceless glottal, not alveolar. It's glottal. It's because it happens here. Yes. Okay. So it's a voiceless glottal fricative. H is a voiceless glottal fricative in English. صافي سالينا مزيان. So we talked about stops. We know what stops are. We talked about fricatives. Let's now talk about what we call نهضروا على glides because it's a manner. Glides. شنو هما glides؟ شنو هو glide بعدا قبل ما because you need to understand why we call it glides. ماشي غير اجي صافي glides take it. No. You have to understand what it means. What is the verb to glide? قلبوا على glide. To glide, to retract suddenly. You know, that's to glide. When you produce a glide like y and w, you know, the tongue quickly goes a little bit backward. W. You can feel that. W. If you put you say w and you put your hand here, but not to the extent of strangling yourself because you have an exam, please. You will feel that the tongue retracts with some millimeters down. That's the verb to glide. So we have two sounds that are like this. When we produce them, there is a little bit of a retraction of the tongue backwards. And these are called glides. عندنا جوج. و and y. و and y. و and then yeah. These are called glides. عرفتوا علاش سميناهم glides. Voilà. We call them glides for this obvious reason. Yes, و and إيه. دابا. Okay, glide. To move easily without stopping, without effort or noise, taken from, yes. A person glide, he will die. Yes. All right, to move easily without stopping, Yeah, that's what we call it a track. In some accounts, it's also there is this backward, movement, especially when we talk about glide. Anyway, عندنا جوج ديال glides. شتي؟ In English, it's very easy. بلا ما تصدعوا راسكم. I'm talking about the ones who will take the exam specifically. Glides فيهم جوج. فيهم و and إيه. Okay? و and إيه. و بعد glides, all glides are voiced. ممكن نلقاو glide that is voiceless? No. Yes. Imanu says they are semi-vowels. They are semi-vowels, yes. غنشوفوا علاش سميتهم semi-vowels. They are also called consonants. هما 50-50. 50% of them are consonants, 50% are vowels. We will talk about this later on. So let me say, Mustafa said something, I guess. If you go further, you will lie, because there is going to be a strangling, issue, which we hope will not come about. All right, that's nice. So and here, that's true. They are followed or are followed. I'm sorry, they are followed or they follow phasa. So they occur either before a vowel or after a vowel, but they will never take the function of a vowel. You understand? مزيان نمشيو للفونولوجي ابري ونهضروا على علاش. You see? But anyway, we will do what we can here, maybe with phonetics, if there is something, because we are left with phonology and morphology. Inshallah, there is a lot to say about these things. Anyway, so for the place of articulation, had glides hadu, they are difficult, much difficult, but some students might not remember that the place of articulation, but it's very easy. Look, for what بعد كل شيء glides are voiced. Si Said is leaving us, unfortunately. Good night, dear professor. Everyone, I have okay. So I wish you all the best with the test tomorrow, and I'm sure you will do outstandingly, Mr. Said. Thank you so much for your active participation with us. It's always a pleasure and a joy to have you with us, together with our friends here, namely the Mustafa Mourchid and Nathalie Leblanc, and also Faiza, because Faiza has started, to be the first to come and the last to leave, exactly like Nathalie and Mourchid, and of course together with the other friends, of course, who are faithful to this channel. Thank you so much. Okay, now let's move on here, please. When is voiced? حتى هذه voiced, donc ما كاينش شي glide اللي هو voiceless. No problem. Okay, now the place of articulation. If you want to say uwe, how can we produce uwe? How do we produce uwe? If you want to say uwe, there are two things that you need to do. Number one, there is the raising of the back part of the tongue towards the velum. الفيلم ها هو. This is the tongue, it raises. It does not touch, because if it touches, it will be a k sound. So it just raises here, okay? Like this. Does the air move? Yes, it does, okay? And so you have this, because it moves near the velum, كنسميوه Velar. Okay? رقم واحد. Let's see, BRRE, I'll come back to that. So the first thing is the raising of the back part of the tongue, because it gets closer to the velum, we call it velar. Yeah. Now, at the same time, you can say what, and you can see my lips rounded without even hearing it. You can see because I'm rounding the lips. What? So the lips get pursed. It means what? What's the place of articulation here? The lips, labio, and then the velum. That's why in pronouncing what, or in describing what, we should say that this has to do with a labio-velar glide. شنو هو labio-velar glide automatically. عرفتوا علاش دابا علاش labio-velar? Because there is the part and there is the other part where the central part of the tongue raises towards the velum. And this one here is easy. This is a voiced palatal glide. علاش palatal? Because the tongue moves a little bit near the palate, the place where we take the tongue when we say the sh. ولكن it doesn't go close. كتبقى شوية at distance. داكشي علاش يتساي ي. You understand? Because إلا كان ي بقات كتقرب غتولي ج. علاش? Because j is a palatal sound. So for y, we call it a voiced velar, palatal glide. Voiced palatal glide. Donc glide سهلين. voiced راه بجوج بهم voiced. وحده فيهم labio-velar اللي هي او راه ممكن تلاحظوا غير هذا. The other one is palatal. glides غتعقلوا ليا غير على labio-velar والأخرى palatal. voiced راه كلشي voiced. glides راه كلشي glide. صافي. Very nice. Okay, we go to the other, please. There is another manner of articulation. Manner of articulation, it's the description of this. Ch and j. Ch and j. Okay. Ch, if you remember, we called it alveopalatal. That's chief place of articulation. Now, in saying ch, we have a t part and the sh part. The t part is a stop. The sh part, the sh. Angie, yeah, please follow, and we will come to this, to nasals and liquids. I leave them until the end so that I can make clear statements about that. Never mind. So in saying t, sh, we have the t part, the sh part. When we talk about the j, you have 50% of it is d, the other 50% is a j, but it's one sound. So in place of articulation, we call them alveopalatal. بجوج بهم alveopalatal. Okay, واحد voice لازم. Now, in manner of articulation, واش are they stops حيت فيهم ت ولا are they fricative حيت فيهم ش. Here there is a solution. A stop and a fricative, when they form one sound, عندنا في l'anglais كاين ch, j, but we also have t in some dialects of maybe Amazigh, and we have also in German we have f and you have t. Okay, so these are f, t, s. You always have stop fricative. Okay, this manner of articulation that combines a stop and a fricative can سميوه Africate. So this is an Africate. An Africate. Look at how I write it. هذا elephant. Sorry. شوفوا على قدرت. Okay, so it's like this. An Africate sound. What is an Africate? شوفوا معايا عندكم تقولوا Africative. بزاف ناس كيديروا هاد لافود. يا إما Fricative يا إما Africate. واش كاين شي حاجة سميتها Africative؟ نو ما كايناش. على رقبتي كما تيقولوا. There's nothing like Africative. Okay, so it's Africate. والAfricate شنو هو؟ هو a sound that combines a stop and a fricative in one sound. We call it an Africate. Okay, nice. Now we move on to the description of a nasal. You know what a nasal is. Let's talk about nasals. Okay. nasals. So we have n, m, we have ng. In English, we have 3 nasals. Why do we call them nasals? Why do we call them nasals? We call them nasals because if you block your nose like this, you will not produce them. مثلا إذا عندك, so when you catch cold, for example, when you catch cold, some people will be saying the pronouns n وإحنا كيسحبوا d, it's a d sound because it will be oral. You understand? So one requirement for a nasal, علاش أصلا سميناه nasal? Because when we produce it, the air flows through the nose. Even if it's blocked at the level of the mouth, it continues through the nose. Okay? So at the level of nasal cavity, we call it a nasal. N. If you block your nose, block your nose like this and say n, I challenge you, you will not produce n. The same thing for m, the same thing for ng. All right? Ng. You cannot say morning. Morning. It will become a g. Look, morning. You see? Voilà. And m will become a b. For example, you must. It's like a b sound there. So you understand this. So these are called, nasals. دابا غادي نشوفوا description. Be happy. All nasals are voiced. There is no voiceless nasal. Okay, donc هذا voiced. Place of articulation, alveolar. On en a parlé. علاش؟ حيت you put the tongue on the alveolar ridge. So n is alveolar. M is bilabial. So here, this is a voiced alveolar nasal. This is a voiced bilabial nasal. This is a voiced velar nasal. Okay, so they just they differ in place of articulation. I think I have to. Okay, let me close this. What's up? Fine. Okay, let's let's carry on, please. Thank you, C. Mohammed Hammani. Thank you, everyone who made who wrote good comments. Please don't forget to subscribe and to share. Okay, nice, because the video will be there anyway. Will be posted. Fine. Safi, I'm sure that had the last manner of articulation, which is liquids. Okay, liquids like this. Liquids are called liquids because they are كتسمى بحال الحروف الانسيابية. Liquids. It's like a liquid سائل. علاش liquid? Because l is likely to become r is likely to become l. وبجوج بهم, especially l, over time, اسمعوا هذه, over time l can become a vowel. l كيولي بحال chameleon, it becomes a vowel historically. Like this is exactly what happens in French, for example. Look at the word almond in English. اللي هو اللوز, almond. Almendras in Spanish. En anglais, c'est amande. Okay? Maldito in Spanish, c'est maudire. Maldito. Where is the L? It becomes an O there. The famous plural in French, بحال cheval, chevaux. Historically, le pluriel ديال cheval, c'était cheval. But historically, because we need to find, a trace of it, but it was obscured because there is this vowel that has eaten up the liquid. Cheval, chevaux. كلشي اللي فيهم لو ال في لو بلوريال ماشي كلشي bien sûr. مثلا chacal, dit chacal, on dit pas dit chaco. ولكن international, nationaux, mais normalement c'est national. Mais bon, au fil de l'histoire, le L a subi une chute. Donc, by consequence, or as a consequence, we have this O there in French. Le O ديال AU in French, c'est souvent زعما avec un L en sous-jacence. So maybe we may not be interested in this for the moment. Liquids, شنو هما liquids؟ عندنا جوج ديال liquids in English. Liquids in English are of two types. We have هوا, and then we have R. What's the difference? Both of them are liquids. حتى liquids حتى هما كاملين voiced بلا ما تمحنوا معهم. You see? We have two types of liquids. The first one is L, and the second one, we have two sounds, not two parts. The second one is R. There is one thing that distinguishes L from R. We say that L is a lateral liquid. علاش سميناه lateral؟ and we say that in the previous video. Lateral كتكتب هكا lateral. We have lateral sclerosis, one disease that affects one side of the body. It's called la sclérose latérale amyotrophique. You have this, and you have non-lateral. It's R is a non-lateral. It is a non-lateral, yes. So let me just explain. One lateral. Lateral means one side. You see, it means side. The one lateral. Bilateral, it means two sides. Unilateral, one side. Lateral, just side. So if someone asks you, what is the adjective from side? Answer, lateral. What is the adjective from, for example, I don't know, intelligence? Answer, intelligent. What's the difference between, what's the adjective from side? Lateral. Okay, not sidal or something. It's lateral. Okay, علاش سميناه lateral؟ هذا ل is called the L is called lateral. It's a lateral liquid because when you articulate it, that is to say when you pronounce it, the air moves just from one side of your mouth. Try it. Say L for 5 seconds. You will realize the air moves just either from this side or from the right side usually. Et c'est pour ça qu'on l'appelle it's a lateral liquid. In French, c'est une liquide latérale. Okay? Une liquide latérale, it's a lateral liquid. Latéral, from عندنا l'airbag latéral. الناس اللي كيعجبهم لي فواتور هذا l'airbag فيها l'airbag frontal, l'airbag etc. You have l'airbag latéral اللي كتكون في الجنب. Okay, so this is the idea. L is a lateral liquid because when we produce it, the air moves from just one side. Try it and you will see. The other type of liquid is this R here, and the R is what? When you produce R, it's not lateral because the air does not go from one. It does not come. It's from one side, but no. So it's not lateral. Nathalie Leblanc has just said that it's a non-lateral liquid. It's what then if it's not lateral? When we produce the especially the sound of English, what happens is that the tongue, the tip of the tongue, look at this, it curls. Curly hair, it curls. And شوفوا and it flexes. C'est quoi flex? It flexes, okay, like this, backward. اللسان ديالنا كيدور هكذا كيدخل in the oral cavity. Okay, so because it gets backward, the prefix for backward, it's rétro. C'est pourquoi عندنا rétroviseur. اوكي, الريتروفيزور ديال السياره اللي هي داك المرايه اللي كنشوفوا فيها. اوكي, علاش كنشوف فيها؟ كتسمى المرآة الخلفيه ولا شي حاجه. Okay, so we refer to this R sound as a retroflex. Retro hit backward, you know الإنسان كيرجع شوية هكا. And flex حيت it's flexible flexion le mot عندنا fléchir les genoux quoi. Fléchir les genoux en français c'est هكا. Fléchir, flexing, it's flexing, okay? Flexing your knees or whatever. كتوي les genoux ديالو, okay? So we have retroflex. So this liquid is called retroflex. علاش كنبش في هاد لا تيرمينولوجي؟ سي باسكو الناس غتشوف ريتروفلكس غتقول كيفاش واش كورن فليكس منين جابوا هاد الشيء؟ واش شي ما عرفتش. I don't know. So it's good to explain these terms well, so that people will be, you know, aware of the reasons behind naming these, okay, sounds. So most, I think we have covered most of the sounds, you know, most of the consonants. So we have talked about voicing, place of articulation, manner of articulation. I am afraid because only 17 people are watching us here, at least, in order for a better, probably, you know, result. I think it's a good idea. I don't know if our friends here, because there was this match, and I don't know. Allah يجزيكم بخير. You share the link to this video in your groups and tell your friends that there will be another online session tomorrow for just to continue what we have here, because we will focus maybe more on, we will very quickly go through vowel description, and then maybe move on to phonology very quickly, and then to morphology, some syntax. I will hold this live session for tomorrow because the concentration level is also getting very low. Now, I think there was a friend who asked a question about the PFE or about... thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Mustafa. Thank you, everyone here. Thank you, BRRRRRRE. How many R's are there? 4. So BRRRRRE. Awatif Bilqaid, thank you so much. Awatif, where were you? You have not made a single comment here. Okay, Shayma Kadri, thank you. Okay, مكتبة واحدة تقولوا thank you. You ask questions and you show, you know. But thank you very much. Please help spreading this, you know, the link to the channel. As long as the link to the video, hit the like button, subscribe, do anything you can do to this channel. At least anything that will not take your money or anything, you know. Everything is for free. Mustafa, today's session was funny. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Si Mustafa. Thank you, Faiza. You are welcome. So tomorrow, Faiza, please tell your friends that a live session will be held tomorrow to continue the journey with linguistics. This is also a preparation for, I wish would-be S4 students, you know, can join us as well, just to have a general idea. Imanu, Professor, I'm sorry. I have to leave now because my connection is not good. Okay, thank you, Imanu. You can join us tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I will be here, inshallah, live to continue. I wish you all the best. Nathalie Leblanc, it was amazing as usual. Thank you so much. Yassin Razouk says, thank you, dear Professor. Barakallahu fikum. Thank you for these encouraging comments. Inshallah. But I'm still waiting for, I don't know whether our friend, the friend who has asked the question is still with us. What does the environment of any morpheme? Yes, Nazi. Okay, so by the way, Professor, your channel was suggested by Prof. El Maliki. Thank you. Yes, El Maliki is my friend and very nice person, and we have met in a number of events at different institutions. Someone I highly respect, and I will thank him tomorrow on the phone for that. Thank you so much, Shayma Qadri, and you are welcome. You are, you know, you are welcome to join our channel. It's a pleasure. Si Ali, thank you very much, my friend. Tomorrow, inshallah, we will hold another live session. If need be, I will post this on the page. I hope, you know, I will find some interest from people, because without this interest, it will be useless. Okay, Yasin Marzouk says, thank you. By the way, I got 16 in semantics. You help a lot. Thank you. مرحبا مرحبا سي ياسين رزوق. It's a real pleasure. May Allah grant you with Jannah. Thank you. BRRRRRE. Thank you. We have a question from Nazi. What is the environment of any morpheme? شوف باش نشرح لك environment in very quickly before I leave. Of course, we will take this later on. We'll take this up maybe tomorrow. شوف, I'm sure this term, it can be confusing to so many students. So environment simply means where it occurs. For example, the morpheme, because you're talking about morpheme here, the morpheme for the plural morpheme in English, which is the famous S, it's realized as Z in this environment. What's the environment? هنا كيكون عندي مثلا right. Okay, I have I have a voiced here, voiced, and the inconsonant voiced هنايا. I have to do it this way. So I have a consonant which is voiced. وهذا هو environment. C'est quoi l'environment? هي البلاصة فين كيوقع هذاك المورفيم. That's its environment. So when I say the plural is realized as Z, in which environment? هنا بالضبط خصو يكون هنا وتكون قبل منه in consonant اللي هي plus voiced. Another environment for the plural is that it happens to be a S, another form of the plural, it's a S, but this time in a different environment where the consonant is voiceless. I'm just trying to provide you with a quick, answer. We will take this up maybe tomorrow if you join our live, inshallah, because we'll be dealing with morphology and phonology as well. Nazi, when the prof asked a question about the environment, I didn't know what it means. I don't know what environment, Mr. Nazi. It's the place where it occurs. Safi. The environment for a phoneme is the place where this phoneme occurs. Wash word finally, before a voiced consonant, after a voice. The same thing for a morpheme. Okay. Si Mustafa has provided us with the famous examples to illustrate this is alternation. Reem Haji, thanks so much. You are welcome, Reem. Imano says, please, I have a request. My problem is I don't know the difference between O and A and A for the next session, inshallah. Yes, since you are leaving now, Imanu, and probably you are a bit tired because it's been 2 hours and a half. Tomorrow, inshallah, if I don't address those specific, that specific question, please, type it, ask it. Once I am live, you can ask this, question, and I will treat it probably with ample examples, inshallah. Thank you very much. What's the problem with the tie? It's always slanted, here, and I have to intervene to make it, in the middle. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a pleasure, and I'm very happy to be with you again. So let's meet tomorrow, inshallah. I wish you all the best and have a good night. Thank you. Right skewed. All right, yeah, right skewed and left skewed. You remember the the statistics tests. Thank you, everyone, and let's meet tomorrow, inshallah, at 9 o'clock. Thank you so much.